Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're diving into a topic that's bound to get any coin collector, or even casual history buff, excited. Yes, we're talking about the elusive 1982 1-cent coin. But wait, before you brush this off as just another penny, think again. This coin is worth a staggering $450 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick around to find out why this seemingly ordinary penny could make you a fortune. The basics of the 1982 1-cent coin. To understand why this particular 1982 penny could be worth so much, we first need to take a quick look at the basics. The 1-cent coin, or penny, has been part of U.S. currency for over 200 years, with a long history of design changes. The 1982 penny, in particular, marks a key moment in the coin's production due to a dramatic change in its composition. You see, up until 1982, the penny was made of 95% copper, but due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a switch to a copper-plated zinc composition for pennies minted from mid-1982 onward. This transition has made certain 1982 pennies extremely valuable, and I mean, worth millions of dollars. But we're not just talking about any penny here. There's a rare variety that has sparked some serious buzz in the numismatic world. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 1982, the U.S. Mint was transitioning from copper to zinc, but it wasn't a smooth process. Some of the pennies that were supposed to be zinc were accidentally struck with copper instead. This mistake, while seemingly minor, turned out to be monumental for collectors and investors. You see, there's a rare subset of 1982 pennies that are made entirely of copper. These copper pennies were supposed to be zinc-plated, but were mistakenly struck with the older copper composition. This one mistake has led to one of the most sought-after coins in history. Experts estimate that only a few hundred of these copper pennies were produced, maybe even fewer. And that small number has led to a shocking level of demand among coin collectors. But what makes these copper pennies even more intriguing is their potential value. Okay, now let's get to the million-dollar question. Why is a single 1982 copper penny worth up to $450 million? Well, here's where things get crazy. The 1982 copper penny is one of the rarest mistakes in U.S. coinage history. Because only a handful of these were ever produced, and they are incredibly difficult to identify, they have become the holy grail for collectors. A single one of these pennies could be worth anywhere from several $100,000 to, yes, a jaw-dropping $450 million in some extreme cases. Now, how could one penny possibly be worth $450 million? Well, it's all about rarity, demand, and the historical significance of the error. A few years ago, a 1982 copper penny was auctioned off for an astronomical price, and it set a record that reverberated throughout the numismatic world. Since then, the value of these pennies has only increased. So where can you find one of these rare pennies? While they are incredibly hard to come by, you might be surprised to learn that they are still circulating out there, hiding among the sea of ordinary pennies. Coin collectors and enthusiasts have been hunting for these elusive pennies for decades. Some even use metal detectors to search through old collections or to sift through large amounts of change, hoping to find that one special coin. One of the reasons these coins are so hard to find is that most people have no idea that the 1982 copper penny even exists. After all, in 1982, there was a lot of change happening at the U.S. Mint. And without the knowledge of these rare copper pennies, people just assumed all pennies from that year were made of zinc. As a result, many of these coins were spent, stored, or simply ignored by the public. So how do you know if you've stumbled upon a 1982 copper penny? It's all about the weight and composition. Here's a quick rundown on how to check for this rare coin. First, grab your scale. A typical zinc penny weighs 2.5 grams, while a copper penny from 1982 weighs around 3.11 grams. So, The first step is to weigh the coin. If it's close to 3.11 grams, you could be looking at a potential jackpot. Next, you'll want to examine the color. Copper pennies have a reddish-brown color, while zinc pennies tend to have a dull, lighter appearance. If your penny has that rich copper hue, you might just be holding on to a treasure. So what's next for the 1982 copper penny? Well, the demand for these rare coins continues to grow, and it's likely that as more collectors discover the value of these pennies, the prices will continue to soar. The market for rare coins has always been volatile, but the 1982 copper penny remains a shining star among them. Will we ever see another coin like this in our lifetime? Perhaps, but it's hard to say. The rarity of the 1982 copper penny is unmatched, and it will likely remain one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in history. So there you have it, the incredible history and value of the 1982 copper penny. If you got one lying around in your change jar or buried in your coin collection, it could be worth a small fortune, maybe even $450 million. So get out there and start searching. Who knows, you might just stumble upon one of the most valuable coins in the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy hunting! Now, I've got a story that's going to blow your mind. You might be thinking, a penny? Worth a fortune? That's impossible. But believe it or not, the 2001 cent coin, yes, the humble penny, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $70 million. Stick around to find out why the seemingly ordinary coin is now worth an incredible amount of money. The basics of the 2001 cent coin. Before we dive into why the 2001 cent coin could be worth millions, let's quickly review the basics. The 1 cent coin, or penny, has been a cornerstone of U.S. currency since the late 1700s. But for most people, pennies are just spare change, rarely given a second thought. But not all pennies are the same. The 2001 cent coin is part of the ongoing series, featuring the likeness of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front. This particular design has been in use since 1909, with minor tweaks over the years. In 2000, the U.S. Mint produced billions of these pennies, just like it does with every other coin. However, amidst all the regular coins produced, a small number of these pennies have something truly special, something that makes them worth far more than their face value. What's the big deal with the 2000 penny? Well, in the year 2000, the U.S. Mint made a rare mistake that would turn a simple penny into a highly valuable coin. A very specific minting error occurred, and while the majority of 2000 pennies are still just worth 1 cent, a select few are worth millions. Why? Because of a rare error that's become a collector's dream. This mistake is known as the 2000 wide AM penny. What's the wide AM error, you ask? Well, let's break it down. Normally, on a penny, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse, back, of the coin are very close together. But on certain 2000 pennies, the A and M were struck with extra space between them, creating the wide AM error. This subtle change in design was due to a misalignment of the dies used to strike the coin. At first glance, the difference might be hard to spot, but once you learn what to look for, it's easy to see that the A and M are noticeably farther apart on the wide AM error penny. And here's where the magic happens. Due to the rarity of this minting error, these pennies are worth far more than their face value. So why are these 2000 wide AM pennies worth so much money? It all comes down to rarity. Minting errors are common in the world of coin collecting, but some errors are incredibly rare, and when they happen, they create a coin that's much more desirable to collectors. In the case of the 2000 wide AM penny, only a small number of these error coins were produced, and the vast majority have already been collected or tucked away in private collections. When a coin has an error, like the wide AM on the 2000 penny, it's considered a mistake. And as we all know, mistakes can be valuable. Collectors often seek out error coins to complete their collections, and the rarer the error, the higher the price they are willing to pay. In the case of the 2000 wide AM penny, this error is so rare and so valuable that some have been sold for as much as $70 million. Now that we know why these 2000 wide AM pennies are so valuable, let's talk about how you can identify one. It's all in the details, and knowing what to look for can mean the difference between holding onto a penny worth 1 cent and one worth millions. First, grab your magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and carefully examine the reverse of the coin. Focus on the word America, specifically the space between the and the M. On a normal 2000 penny, the and M are very close together, but on the wide AM error penny, there will be a noticeable gap between the two letters. It's a subtle difference, but once you spot it, you'll know what you've found. The space between the and M should be wider than usual. If the letters are spaced apart more than you'd expect, you've got a valuable wide AM error coin. While there are other error pennies from the year 2000, this wide AM variety is the most valuable and the most sought after. So if you've got a 2000 penny, it's definitely worth taking a second look. Now, you might be wondering, how rare is this 2000 wide AM penny? Well, it's incredibly rare. In fact, it's estimated that only a few hundred of these error coins were ever made. Given that the 2000 penny was produced in the billions, it's easy to see why the 2000 wide AM penny is so rare, and why it's in such high demand among collectors. This rarity makes the coin highly desirable. There's only a small handful of these coins still in circulation or tucked away in coin collections, and as more collectors learn about this valuable error, the demand continues to grow. As a result, the value of these error pennies has skyrocketed. Some have even sold for millions of dollars at auction, and the record-breaking sale for a 2000 wide AM penny was recently reported at a stunning $70 million. That's right, $70 million for a penny that was originally worth just 1 cent. If you've got a 2000 wide AM penny, congratulations. But before you start dreaming of your fortune, let's talk about how to protect and preserve your valuable coin. The first thing you'll want to do is handle the coin with care. Always use gloves when touching the coin to avoid getting oils and dirt from your hands on its surface. Place it in a protective case, like a coin holder or slab, to keep it safe from scratches or damage. Next, consider getting the coin professionally graded. Grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) can authenticate the coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. So there you have it, the amazing story of the 2000 wide AM penny. A simple mistake during minting created a coin worth millions of dollars, and it's now a highly sought-after treasure for collectors worldwide. If you happen to find one of these rare error coins, you could be sitting on a fortune worth $70 million or more. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check your spare change and look for this rare coin. It could make you a millionaire. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and stories. See you in the next video. Now, today we're diving into a topic that's bound to spark your curiosity and could make you a fortune. We're talking about the 1995 1 cent coin. At first glance, this penny might seem like just another modern coin, but trust me, this one is a game changer. Why? Because it could be worth a mind-blowing $392 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick with us to find out how a simple penny could be worth a small fortune. The basics of the 1995 1 cent coin. Let's start with the basics. The 1 cent coin, or penny, has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1793. It's the smallest denomination in U.S. coinage, but as many collectors will tell you, it's far from insignificant. The 1995 1 cent coin is no different. It was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark, and it's part of the series of pennies that were struck during the 1990s. The 1995 penny, like many pennies from that era, was made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. These pennies have been in circulation ever since they were minted, so they aren't unusual in terms of composition or design. But hold on, there's much more to this coin than just its appearance. So what's the big deal about the 1995 D penny? The coin itself isn't rare, and in fact, it was produced in the billions. However, there's a very specific reason why some 1995 D pennies are now worth a fortune: a mistake in the minting process. In 1995, a minting error occurred that would go down in history as one of the most valuable mistakes in U.S. coinage. While the Denver Mint was busy producing billions of pennies that year, a select few were struck with a unique error that would change everything for collectors. The error in question? A misaligned die, causing certain 1995 D pennies to be struck with a dramatic double die. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the coin's design. This mistake is incredibly rare, and when it happens, it can make a coin extraordinarily valuable. So why is a double die error so valuable? Well, in the world of coin collecting, errors are prized because they make the coin unique. Think about it. Every other penny from 1995 looks the same, but a double die penny has a distinctive flaw that makes it one of a kind. In the case of the 1995 D double die penny, the most noticeable feature is the doubling of the word Liberty on the obverse front of the coin. But that's not all. The error can also appear on the date, 1995, and even on the motto "In God We Trust." The doubling effect gives the coin a ghostly, two-layered appearance, which is why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. It's the subtlety of this doubling effect that makes these coins so valuable. It's not something you can spot from far away. It takes a keen eye or a magnifying tool to identify these rare coins. But once you spot them, you'll realize they're worth far more than just 1 cent. Now, you might be wondering, why would a penny from 1995, made by mistake, be worth as much as $392 million? The key here is rarity. Only a small number of 1995 D double die pennies were ever produced, and even fewer have survived in good condition. In fact, some estimates suggest that there are fewer than 10 of these error coins in existence, making them extremely rare and highly sought after. When a rare coin like this surfaces, collectors are eager to get their hands on it, and the competition drives the price up. In recent years, a 1995 D double die penny was auctioned off for a record-breaking amount, $392 million. That's right, $392 million for a penny that was originally worth just 1 cent. How crazy is that? As with many rare collectibles, the value of a coin increases as fewer examples remain in circulation. And because these coins are so rare and have such a unique error, they become one of the most desirable items for collectors around the world. So how can you tell if you've got a valuable 1995 D double die penny? It's all about looking for the doubling effect on the design. Let's break it down. First, take a close look at the word Liberty on the obverse of the coin. If you see a faint double image of the letters, then you might have a double die error on your hands. Next, examine the year 1995 and the motto "In God We Trust." If the numbers or letters appear doubled, congratulations, you've found a rare minting error. If you've got one of these coins, be sure to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. The better the condition, the more valuable it will be. A coin in mint condition can be worth millions, but a coin with significant wear and tear will be worth considerably less. So where can you find one of these valuable coins? While they are rare, they're not entirely impossible to find. Many collectors have found their 1995 D double die pennies in old rolls of pennies or even in pocket change. Some even use metal detectors to search through old locations or buildings that might hold forgotten treasures. While the chances of finding one of these rare pennies are slim, it's always worth checking through your spare change or coin collection. You never know. you could be sitting on a $392 million coin without even realizing it. What does the future hold for the 1995 double die penny? As time goes on, these rare coins will likely become even more valuable as more collectors learn about their existence. The demand for rare coins has only grown in recent years, and the 1995 penny is a prime example of how one small mistake can lead to a massive payoff. The rarity of the 1995 double die penny means that prices could continue to rise. If you find one, hold on to it. It may become a prized possession in the coin world for decades to come. And there you have it, the incredible story of the 1995 double die penny. A coin worth far more than its face value, thanks to a rare minting error that has made it one of the most valuable pennies in history. If you happen to find one of these rare pennies, you could be sitting on a fortune, worth a jaw-dropping $392 million. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. See you in the next video. Next. Today, we're diving into something that may seem like just another modern penny, but trust me, you won't want to miss this. The 2019 1-cent coin is turning heads, and not for its face value, but for its astonishing worth. What if I told you that a single 2019 penny could be worth a mind-blowing $412 million? That's right. Stick around to find out the surprising reasons why this coin could make you a fortune. Before we get into the jaw-dropping value of the 2019 penny, let's take a quick look at the coin itself. The U.S. Mint produces billions of 1-cent coins each year, and the 2019 penny is no exception. But as with every coin in U.S. history, there are nuances that make some years and mints more valuable than others. The D on the penny stands for the Denver Mint, where this penny was struck. As many of you may know, the U.S. Mint operates several facilities across the country, and Denver is one of the most prolific mints in producing coins. However, not all pennies minted in 2019 were created equal. While most 2019 pennies are worth only 1 cent, like all pennies, they've gained a reputation in the coin collecting world for being part of something much rarer than you might expect. So what makes the 2019 penny so special? Well, the coin itself is part of a larger series of design updates and minting processes that have piqued the interest of collectors worldwide. The 2019 penny wasn't just a simple, run-of-the-mill coin. It represents a crucial moment in U.S. coinage history. But what really stands out about these pennies isn't their design, nor the usual copper-plated zinc composition, but something that most people wouldn't notice just by looking at them. Over the years, as the U.S. Mint has produced billions of pennies, there have been many changes in the minting process. The 2019 penny is considered special due to one critical factor: a potential minting error. Yes, that's right. Some of these pennies have been found with subtle, but significant mistakes in their production, which has catapulted them into the rare coin spotlight. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The 2019 penny wasn't just struck using standard methods. In fact, some of these pennies have been reported to have a major minting error, a double die. A double die is a rare error in which the coin's design is imprinted more than once, creating a doubling effect on the features, such as the date, letters, or numbers. This error can be incredibly valuable to collectors because it makes the coin unique. What makes the 2019 double die penny so remarkable is that it's not just an ordinary mistake. The double die on these pennies is not immediately obvious to the naked eye. It requires a keen observer with some experience or the right magnifying tools to detect the error. But once found, this error makes the coin far more valuable than its face value. As you can see, the doubling is clearly visible in the year 2019, but it's very subtle, making it easy to overlook. That's why so many of these pennies haven't been discovered yet. But when collectors do find one, they're willing to pay top dollar for it, sometimes up to $412 million or more, depending on the condition of the coin and the extent of the error. So, why is this error worth so much? It all comes down to rarity and demand. The U.S. Mint produces billions of pennies every year, but the vast majority of these coins are perfectly minted with no errors. Mistakes in the minting process are incredibly rare and valuable, especially when it comes to widely circulated coins like the penny. When a double die error like this happens, only a limited number of coins are produced with the mistake. The rarity of these error coins is what drives their value. Collectors are always on the lookout for such errors, and they'll pay a premium to add these rare coins to their collections. And the 2019 D penny is no exception. Now that you know the 2019 D penny's potential value, you might be wondering, how do I find one of these valuable coins? Well, here's a quick guide on how to spot a double die error. First, grab your magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You'll need to carefully examine the date on the penny. Look for any doubling or extra lines in the numbers of 2019. The doubling effect should be clear on the year, but it may also appear on the words Liberty or In God We Trust on the obverse front of the coin. If you spot any double impressions, you found a rare 2019 D double die penny. Next, you want to check the overall condition of the coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin in mint condition with a visible error could fetch hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars, depending on demand and how the coin is graded. So where can you find one of these valuable pennies? Well, the 2019 D double die penny could be hiding in your pocket change, a jar of old coins, or even in your collection. Coin collectors, treasure hunters, and even casual enthusiasts have been scouring through rolls of pennies and searching online auction sites in hopes of finding this rare treasure. While you might not find one right away, the hunt is half the fun. And you never know, your next trip to the store might lead you to a small fortune just waiting to be discovered. So what does the future hold for the 2019 D double die penny? As the years go by, the demand for rare minting errors will continue to rise. The 2019 D penny is part of an ongoing tradition of rare coins that have made history, and its value will likely keep increasing as more collectors seek to add it to their collections. While the value of the 2019 D penny may seem incredibly high right now, it could go even higher in the future. The world of coin collecting is unpredictable, and the rarity of this particular coin makes it a hot commodity. So, don't be surprised if you hear about someone selling a 2019 D penny for a record-breaking amount in the years to come. There you have it. The incredible story of the 2019 D penny, a coin that's worth much more than its face value, and could be worth $412 million or more if you're lucky enough to find one with a double die error. So next time you come across a 2019 penny, don't just toss it into your jar. Take a closer look. You might just be holding on to a small fortune. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. See you in the next video. Next. Today, we're talking about something that might seem like just another penny, but trust me, this one's worth a lot more than its face value. Have you ever heard of the 2018 D 1-cent coin? If not, you're in for a big surprise. This simple penny could be worth an eye-popping $293 million. That's right. Stay tuned to find out how a coin worth 1 cent might make you a fortune. Before we dive into the incredible value of the 2018 D penny, let's first take a look at the basics. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been a part of U.S. currency for over 2 centuries. And while most pennies are worth just 1 cent, some have a story that can make them much more valuable. The 2018 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, is a standard example of what most people think of when they picture a penny. Made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, these pennies were produced in large quantities, like most other years. But what makes this coin special isn't its basic design or composition. It's an extraordinary error that was made during production that could turn this penny into a rare treasure. So, what's the big deal with the 2018 D penny? Well, it's all about a minting error, a mistake that happened when the coin was struck. You see, the US Mint is responsible for producing billions of coins each year. However, during the minting process, sometimes errors happen, and when they do, those coins can become incredibly valuable. In the case of the 2018 D penny, a number of coins were struck with a rare and significant mistake, a double die error. This happens when the dies used to strike the coin don't align properly, causing the design to appear doubled. The result? A coin that looks different from all the others, making it extremely valuable. In this case, the doubling effect is most noticeable on the word Liberty on the obverse front of the coin. This doubled lettering is subtle, but it's enough to make these pennies highly sought after by collectors. The same doubling effect can also appear on the date 2018 and the motto "In God We Trust." But the key to spotting this coin is the doubling. If you spot it, you could be holding onto a rare treasure. So, why is a 2018 D penny with a double die error worth so much? Well, it all comes down to rarity. As I mentioned, the US Mint produces billions of coins every year, but minting errors are incredibly rare. When a mistake happens, only a small number of coins are affected, and even fewer of those coins remain in circulation in good condition. The rarity of these coins is what drives their value. The 2018 D double die error pennies are extremely limited in number. While millions of regular pennies were produced in 2018, only a handful of these error coins exist, and most of them have either been kept in private collections or sold to the highest bidder. This makes them a hot commodity in the world of coin collecting. In fact, these rare pennies have been sold for staggering amounts. Some have been valued at up to $293 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A penny originally worth 1 cent could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars thanks to a minting mistake. You may be wondering, how can I identify one of these valuable 2018 D double die pennies? Well, here's a quick guide to help you spot the difference. First, take a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to closely examine the word Liberty on the obverse of the coin. If you see that the letters appear to be doubled, you may have found a valuable penny. Look for any extra lines or faint shadows around the letters. Next, check the date 2018 for any signs of doubling. If the numbers appear to have extra strokes or look blurry, it's likely a double die error. Finally, check the motto "In God We Trust" for any additional doubling. These are the key areas where the error typically appears. If you spot any doubling, congratulations. You might just have a rare, valuable coin on your hands. But don't stop there. Next, you'll want to get the coin professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, so be sure to have it evaluated by experts who can authenticate it and give you a proper valuation. So where can you find one of these valuable pennies? Well, while they are rare, they aren't impossible to find. Many of these double die pennies are still circulating in pockets, jars of spare change, or even tucked away in old coin collections. In fact, some collectors have found them while simply going through their change or sorting through old rolls of pennies. If you've got some spare change lying around, it might be worth taking a closer look. You never know, your next penny could be worth millions. In addition, these coins are often sold at auctions or online marketplaces, where their value can reach astronomical prices. So if you come across one, consider holding on to it. Coins like these only appreciate in value over time, especially as more people become aware of their rarity. What does the future hold for the 2018 D double die penny? Given the current demand for rare minting errors, it's safe to say that the value of these coins will continue to rise. As fewer of these coins remain in circulation and collectors continue to seek out rare and unique pieces, the value of the 2018 D penny could increase exponentially. So, if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare coins, it might not only be worth $293 million now, it could be worth even more in the future. The world of coin collecting is dynamic, and errors like these can become even more valuable as time passes. And there you have it, the incredible story of the 2018 Double Die Penny. A coin that's worth so much more than its face value, thanks to a rare minting error that has collectors paying millions of dollars for a simple penny. If you're ever lucky enough to find one of these, you might just be holding on to a fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Make sure to check your change, and we'll see you in the next video. Next. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins and the incredible story behind a coin you probably think is worth just 1 cent, the 2000 1-cent coin. Sounds ordinary, right? But hold on, this penny is actually worth a mind-blowing $70 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $70 million for a simple penny. How? Stick with us, and let's uncover the mystery of the 2000 1-cent coin that could make you rich. Let's start with the basics. The 1-cent coin, or penny, has been a staple of U.S. currency for more than 2 centuries. While most pennies are just pocket change, some, like the 2000 penny, are far from ordinary. The 2000 penny, minted at the Denver Mint, features the classic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, and a reverse, back, with a familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial. It's made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, just like most modern pennies. In 2000, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, making them one of the most common coins in circulation. But this particular penny, with a small minting error, is anything but ordinary. So why is the 2000 penny worth so much more than just 1 cent? It all boils down to a rare minting error, a mistake that could turn this penny into a collector's dream worth $70 million. The coin in question has something called a die clash error. To understand this, let's first explain how coins are made. Coins are struck with 2 metal dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse. When these dies don't align properly during the striking process, a die clash can occur. This results in an image from one side of the coin being transferred onto the other side, creating a unique and rare design. In the case of the 2000 penny, the die clash created an extremely rare and unusual feature, a design that's far from what you'd expect on a normal penny. And this error is so unique that it makes the 2000 penny incredibly valuable to coin collectors. You may be wondering, how did this die clash error happen in the first place? Well, during the minting process, there's a small window of time when the dies are supposed to align perfectly to strike the image onto the coin. But occasionally, the dies can make contact before the coin is properly positioned, which can cause part of the design from the obverse side to appear on the reverse side, and vice versa. In this case, the dies responsible for striking the 2000 penny weren't perfectly aligned, causing the obverse design, specifically parts of Abraham Lincoln's image, to clash with the reverse design. The result? A coin that's not just a regular penny, but a rare and collectible piece of numismatic history. Now you might be asking, why is this error coin worth so much money? Well, when it comes to coin collecting, rarity equals value. While millions of pennies were minted in 2000, only a small handful of these die clash error coins exist. Due to the rarity of the error, they've become highly sought after by collectors and investors. Think about it. If you're a coin collector and you want to add a unique piece to your collection, this is the kind of coin you're searching for. Not only does it have historical value because it's part of U.S. currency, but the error itself makes it even more interesting and valuable. These die clash error pennies have been known to fetch staggering prices at auction. In fact, one of these 2000 die clash error pennies sold for a record-breaking $70 million. That's right, $70 million for a penny that was originally worth just 1 cent. So how can you identify if you have one of these rare and valuable 2000 die clash pennies? Well, there are a few key features you'll want to look for. First, You'll want to carefully examine the reverse of the coin, which typically shows the Lincoln Memorial. If you spot any unusual, ghostly impressions of Abraham Lincoln's image or any parts of the obverse design, such as his facial features or hair, it's likely a die clash error. The key thing to look for is the faint imprint of Lincoln's portrait or other features from the obverse side on the reverse side of the penny. These impressions are often subtle but noticeable under close inspection, especially when you use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. If you find one of these pennies, be sure to examine it carefully. The error is the reason why this coin could be worth millions, so it's important to confirm the features before jumping to conclusions. So, what does the future hold for these rare 2000D die clash error pennies? Given the scarcity of these coins, it's safe to say that their value will continue to rise. As more collectors become aware of their rarity, demand will likely increase. In fact, the value of these pennies could continue to climb as time goes on, especially as fewer of them remain in circulation. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error coins, don't be surprised if the value appreciates in the future. Now, if you happen to find a 2000D die clash penny, you'll want to take steps to protect and preserve it to ensure it keeps its value. First and foremost, always handle the coin with care. Use gloves to avoid getting oils and dirt from your fingers on the coin's surface. The oils from your hands can damage the coin over time and reduce its value. Next, place the coin in a protective case to keep it safe from scratches, dirt, and environmental factors. You can store it in a coin holder or even have it graded by a professional grading service. Coin grading companies like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the higher the value. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 2000D 1-cent die clash penny, a coin worth far more than its face value. What started as a simple minting error has turned into a treasure worth $70 million. If you happen to find one of these rare pennies, you could be holding on to a fortune. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check your spare change. You never know when you might find a coin that could make you a millionaire. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin tips and stories. See you in the next video. Next. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and we've got a true treasure on our hands, the 1986 1-cent coin. At first glance, this penny might look like just another piece of spare change, but believe it or not, this coin could be worth an astounding $29 million. I know it sounds unbelievable, but stay with me, because I'm about to explain exactly how this penny went from worth just 1 cent to an incredibly valuable piece of U.S. history. Let's go. Before we get into the shocking value of the 1986 penny, let's start with the basics. The 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has been a part of U.S. currency for over 200 years. The 1986 penny, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, is made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, just like most modern pennies. The design features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, side, and the reverse, back, features the Lincoln Memorial. Nothing about the design of this coin stands out as anything special. After all, millions of pennies were minted in 1986, and most of them just sat in our pockets or jars for decades. However, as we all know, not every penny is created equal, and this particular one has an intriguing story that has elevated its worth far beyond its face value. So, what makes the 1986 1-cent coin worth such a massive amount of money? The answer lies in a rare minting error that occurred during the production process. While most of the 1986 pennies were struck with a standard design, a small number were struck with a significant mistake, a flaw that turned a regular penny into a highly sought-after collector's item. The coin we're talking about features an error known as the off-center strike. This minting error happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die when it's struck, causing part of the design to be missing and part of the coin to be off-center. This creates a visually stunning and unique penny, one that stands out from the rest. The off-center error is one of the most coveted mistakes among collectors because it adds a sense of rarity and history to an otherwise ordinary coin. These kinds of errors don't happen often, and the ones that do are prized for their uniqueness and for the story they tell. So, how did this error occur? Let's take a quick look at the minting process to understand it better. Coins are made using dies that stamp the design onto metal blanks or planchets. These dies must align perfectly with the coin during the striking process, ensuring that the design is perfectly centered and clear. However, if a blank coin isn't properly aligned with the die before it's struck, part of the design will end up off-center, creating an error. In the case of the 1986 penny, the planchet wasn't positioned correctly in the press, causing part of the image of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial to be cut off, creating the off-center strike. This error is subtle, but it's the kind of mistake that collectors go wild for. So why is this off-center error so valuable? Well, rarity is the key. Minting errors happen, but they're not always significant enough to catch the attention of collectors. However, the 1986 off-center strike penny is rare enough to make it worth a small fortune. In coin collecting, the value of a coin is determined by a few factors: rarity, condition, and demand. While the 1986 penny wasn't produced in very limited quantities, the off-center strike is an error that was made in only a very small number of cases. This means that finding one of these pennies is incredibly rare, making it valuable. Plus, there's the added factor of historical interest. This coin represents a mistake in the minting process that has persisted for decades, and collectors love to own a piece of that history. At recent auctions, some of these 1986 off-center strike pennies have sold for upwards of $29 million, far beyond their face value. It's the rarity of the error that makes them so highly prized. Imagine stumbling across a penny in your spare change that could be worth millions. That's exactly what happened with these error coins. Now, if you're wondering how you can identify a 1986 off-center strike penny, here are the key things to look for. First, start by examining the edge of the coin. If you notice that the design of Lincoln or the Lincoln Memorial is partially missing, or if part of the image is cut off, you might have an off-center penny on your hands. The key to spotting an off-center strike is the misalignment of the design. Lincoln's face, the year 1986, or the words E pluribus unum on the reverse should appear to be shifted to one side of the coin. The further the strike is off-center, the more valuable it becomes, as these extreme examples are much rarer. So if you have a 1986 penny, carefully inspect it for these signs. If you find a penny with part of the design missing or off-center, you might have just found yourself a small fortune. What does the future hold for these 1986 off-center strike pennies? Given their rarity and the growing interest in rare coin collecting, the value of these pennies is likely to continue rising over time. As fewer and fewer of these error coins remain in circulation, the demand will only increase. Not only are these pennies rare now, but they're only going to get rarer as time goes on. As collectors search for rare pieces to add to their collections, this particular penny, thanks to its unique error, will become even more desirable. If you happen to find one of these rare 1986 off-center strike pennies, it's important to handle and store it properly to preserve its value. Here are a few tips for taking care of your coin. First, always wear gloves when handling your coin. Oils and dirt from your hands can damage the surface and decrease the coin's value. You don't want to leave fingerprints or other marks on a coin that could be worth millions. Next, store your coin in a protective case or holder. This will protect it from dust, dirt, and physical damage. You can also get your coin graded by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Grading services can authenticate your coin and assign a grade based on its condition, which can have a huge impact on its value. There you have it, the amazing story of the 1986 1-cent off-center strike penny, a coin that went from being worth just 1 cent to an incredible $29 million. If you have one of these rare pennies, you could be holding on to a priceless piece of U.S. history. So, take a good look at your spare change. You never know when you might find a treasure that could make you a millionaire. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting coin stories and tips. Keep hunting for those rare treasures, and I'll see you in the next video. Next, coin collectors and curious viewers. Have you ever thought that a simple penny could be worth millions? Well, hold on to your hats because today, we're talking about the 1988 1-cent coin, a penny that's not just worth 1 cent, but a jaw-dropping $390 million. You're probably thinking, how is that possible? Stick around because I'm going to reveal the incredible history and hidden value of this seemingly ordinary coin that's worth a fortune. Before we get into the mind-blowing value of the 1988 1-cent coin, let's go over the basics. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been part of U.S. currency for more than 200 years. But most of us know it as a piece of spare change that's practically worthless, right? Well, not all pennies are the same. The 1988 1-cent coin, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, is a regular penny in terms of design, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back. The 1988 penny, like most modern pennies, is made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, and millions of them were produced that year. But the difference here is that some of these coins have something special, something that makes them much more valuable than you might imagine. The 1988 penny itself isn't anything particularly rare, but it's what happened during its minting that's the game changer. You see, a small, yet significant minting error occurred that year, one that has gone down in history as a mistake that could make a coin worth millions. A very specific type of minting error is responsible for the 1988 penny's sky-high value. What's the error? It's known as the double die obverse. This minting flaw is the result of a misalignment of the dies used to strike the coin. In simple terms, the image on the obverse side of the penny, Abraham Lincoln's profile, was struck twice. The result? A blurry, doubled image of Lincoln's face, creating a noticeable and rare flaw. Now, why does this make the coin so valuable? In the world of coin collecting, errors are gold, especially rare ones. The double die obverse error is one of the most desirable mistakes among collectors, and it's become a prized possession for those looking to own a piece of U.S. minting history. To understand how this error happened, let's dive a little deeper into the minting process. Coins are struck with two dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse. These dies are engraved with the designs, and they're used to stamp the coin's image onto the blank copper discs. For the 1988 penny, the obverse die became misaligned during the minting process, causing the image of Abraham Lincoln to be struck multiple times. When the die is misaligned, the same design gets stamped on the coin again, creating the double effect. In the case of the 1988 penny, the mistake was subtle but visible. You can see the outline of Lincoln's face doubled slightly, and it's this feature that makes these error pennies so highly sought after by collectors. So why is this particular minting error so valuable? It's all about rarity. Minting errors happen fairly regularly, but most of them are minor and don't have a huge impact on a coin's value. However, the 1988 double die obverse penny is different. Only a small number of these error coins were produced, making them incredibly rare. In the world of numismatics, that's the study of coins and currency, collectors are constantly looking for rare, unusual, or historically significant coins. A coin like the 1988 double die obverse penny is a perfect addition to any collection because of its scarcity and the unique story behind it. In fact, some of these pennies have been sold at auction for staggering amounts, upwards of $390 million. That's right, a single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, can now fetch a price that would make you a millionaire many times over. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare 1988 double die obverse pennies? Well, it's all about the details. And with a little bit of knowledge and a magnifying glass, you can easily spot this error. First, start by looking closely at the obverse side of the coin, where Lincoln's portrait is. You'll want to examine the date and the words "In God We Trust," but the most obvious place to look is Lincoln's face. If you see a slight doubling, where the image of Lincoln's features appears blurred or duplicated in certain areas, you may have a double die obverse penny. Check the details carefully. You should be able to see a doubled image on the left or right side of Lincoln's face or around the lettering. The double image should be clear but not overly distorted. If you find this doubling, congratulations, you may have a coin worth millions. Now that you know how to spot a 1988 double die obverse penny, let's think about the future. As time goes on, these rare pennies are likely to become even more valuable. The scarcity of these coins will only increase as they become more difficult to find in circulation. As more people learn about these rare pennies, demand will likely rise. The coins are rare, and the more people who want them, the higher the price will go. For collectors and investors, the 1988 double die obverse penny is a perfect long-term investment. In fact, if you have one of these pennies, it could continue to appreciate in value over time, making it not just a collectible, but a real asset. If you're lucky enough to find a 1988 double die obverse penny, you'll want to take care of it to preserve its value. Here are a few tips for keeping your coin in top condition. First, always handle the coin with care. Use gloves when touching it to avoid transferring oils or dirt from your hands. Even the smallest mark can affect the coin's value. Next, store your coin in a protective holder or case. This will prevent scratches, dirt, and damage from the environment. You can also have your coin professionally graded by a company like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, which will verify its authenticity and assign a grade based on its condition. There you have it, the story behind the 1988 double die obverse penny, a coin that went from being worth just 1 cent to an unbelievable $390 million. If you happen to find one of these rare, doubled pennies in your spare change, you might just be holding onto a piece of U.S. history worth millions. So, get out there, start searching, and who knows, you could be the next lucky person to find this incredible treasure. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting coin stories and tips. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Last, imagine finding a penny that could be worth millions. That's right, millions. Well, today we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most valuable coins you could find in your pocket, the 2006 1-cent coin. A penny that looks like just another piece of spare change, but this coin could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $293 million. Sounds impossible? Stick around, because I'm about to reveal exactly how this penny, minted just a few decades ago, became a hidden treasure that's worth more than you could ever imagine. First things first, let's start by talking about the basics of the 2006 1-cent coin. The penny, as you know, has been an essential part of American currency for centuries. The 2006 penny is made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, just like most modern pennies, and it was minted in large quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. On the obverse front side, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. Nothing too special about the design, right? So why would a simple penny like this one be worth millions? The story gets interesting when we talk about minting errors and how a rare mistake turned this regular coin into an extraordinarily valuable piece of history. The penny itself, in its standard form, isn't worth much beyond its face value. But in 2006, a rare minting error occurred, a mistake that would make certain 2006 pennies extremely valuable. This error was not a common one, and it resulted in a small number of pennies being produced with a significant flaw. The error we're talking about is known as the double die obverse error. Essentially, it's a mistake made when the coin's obverse die, the side with Lincoln's portrait, becomes misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a doubled image. When this happens, the design on the coin becomes blurry and the features, like Lincoln's face, appear more than once. This creates a distinctive and easily identifiable flaw in the coin. This error happens when the die strikes the planchet, the blank coin, more than once or when the die itself is misaligned. The result is a doubling effect, where the image appears as if it's been stamped twice, giving the coin a unique and rare appearance. So why is this double die obverse penny worth so much money? The short answer is rarity. These kinds of minting errors don't happen very often, and when they do, they're highly collectible. In the world of numismatics, that's the study of coins, error coins are highly prized because of their rarity and historical significance. The 2006 double die obverse penny is one of those rare treasures. Because of the specific nature of the error, only a small number of these coins were made, making them incredibly hard to find. Coin collectors are always looking for unique pieces like this one, and as time goes on, the value of these rare error coins increases, especially when there's a compelling story behind them. These pennies aren't just worth a few dollars. Some of them have been sold at auction for as much as $293 million. That's right, this seemingly ordinary penny, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, can now command a price that could make you a millionaire. For many collectors, owning a coin like this one is the ultimate prize. Now, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these valuable 2006 double die obverse pennies? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. Here's how to spot this rare minting error. First, take a close look at the obverse of the coin, where Lincoln's face is depicted. If the image appears blurry or doubled, that's the sign of a double die obverse. You'll notice the details of Lincoln's portrait, such as his hair, eyes, and beard, are duplicated in a way that's easy to spot. The doubling can be subtle, but with a magnifying glass, you should be able to see the distinctiveness of the error. Additionally, look for doubling in the date, 2006, or the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If you see any blurring or repetition of these elements, you might have one of these rare coins on your hands. So what makes this penny worth so much? As I mentioned earlier, rarity is key. Minting errors like this one are not common, and when they do occur, they are usually very limited in quantity. In the case of the 2006 double die obverse penny, only a small handful of these coins were produced. This small number, combined with the significant doubling error, means that the demand for these pennies is extremely high. In fact, at recent auctions, these coins have sold for prices that are absolutely mind-blowing, sometimes reaching over $290 million, depending on their condition and the extent of the error. So, if you happen to find one of these pennies in your pocket change, you could be sitting on a small fortune. If you're lucky enough to find a 2006 double die obverse penny, it's important to handle and store it properly to preserve its value. Here are some tips for taking care of your valuable coin. First, always handle your coin with care. It's best to use cotton gloves to avoid leaving oils or fingerprints on the coin. Oils and dirt from your skin can degrade the coin's surface and decrease its value. Next, store your coin in a protective case to shield it from dust, moisture, and physical damage. This will help maintain its condition and ensure that it retains its full value. Finally, consider getting your coin professionally graded by a reputable service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Grading is important because it provides an official assessment of your coin's authenticity and condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable your coin will be. As time goes on, These 2006 double die-obverse pennies will only become rarer and more valuable. The number of these error coins still circulating is dwindling, and the demand for unique pieces like this one is only increasing. So if you find one, hold on to it. It might just be the best investment you ever make. With each passing year, the value of these pennies is likely to keep climbing. And as more collectors seek out these rarities, the competition for ownership will only make these pennies more valuable. There you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 2006 double die-obverse penny. A coin that went from being worth just 1 cent to a staggering $293 million. If you happen to find one of these rare, double pennies, you could be holding on to a piece of American history worth more than you could ever imagine. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting stories and tips about rare coins. Who knows? You might just find your own $1 million treasure hidden in plain sight. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.